Hi there, it's Karen here from Turquoise Treasures. Welcome back to my channel, and a special big welcome to my new subscribers. I've had a flurry of new subscribers recently, which I'm really grateful for, so thank you very much for joining me. I hope you enjoy this video. We're going to be working in my wedding journal and creating a triple envelope flip, I think we call it. This is something I saw made a couple of years ago by Gail Agostinelli. It was in the time when I was just watching videos. I spent about a year watching videos and just making things that I saw being made on camera. So I would watch them and make along as I went along, and that's how I learned, how to make things really. So this was something I made quite early on, I believe. I saw her make it and I thought I'd give it a go. I wasn't even sure if I had a version of it still in my books of things that I've made, because sometimes I've used them, put them in journals. I know I did make one for a journal I made very early on. But yes, there was one there. It's not great, but it's the one it's one of the first things I made. So you have to forgive it. It's a little bit rough and ready, a little bit crunchy, but I'll show you what it is, and then we'll make one, and hopefully a slightly better version today. So the way it goes, it's just 3 envelopes. Attached together like this. So I'll just get these out of the way. And where I made something similar in the past. I certainly made one for my Christmas journal, but on that occasion I just completely covered the envelopes and just used them as a base and sealed them up, and just used them to work on the backs and the fronts, to journal and put photos. But this version, you actually leave the envelopes open and put something inside. So you just put a little journaling card. So I've got little journaling cards in each of these envelopes. I did this one on a slightly sort of child theme. I've got Victoria Plum pictures. I think I've been watching some Shabby Dabby Doodah at the time as well. And she loves using Victoria Plum, and I managed to get hold of one of the books from a charity shop. So I thought I'd have a go at using those images. So it was been inspired somewhat by Gail and somewhat by Tina, I think, this one. And so you have the journaling cards, and so the front, or the inside is covered with napkins. So you can see I've used the same napkin on each one, and the flap, and then you put your little images on the outside and fold it up, and you just have to remember to put them right way up so that they fold up and face the right way, and there's another one on the back. So that's this little flip. That's what I'm going to be trying to make. I think afterwards have a little play with using some scrapbooking paper just to see how it came out, and making my own envelopes. So I made little ones using, I think, 6x6 size. This was definitely using a 6x6 paper pad. I think it's a Kaisercraft paper pad I used. So just made some little journaling cards, and so these ones, they're all different papers, but they coordinate because they're from the same pad. And I didn't do any cards to go in this one. I was just playing around, but it just shows you can do these things in any size, and it still goes nicely in your journal. And you can put some little things in, pop little things inside. And again, this was very much on a baby themed one. So I've used some scrapbooking paper. I think it's probably all the same papers, or no, same pad, different papers. Made my own envelopes again, and these have just got little journaling cards, if I can get hold of them. Not so easy to get hold of these ones because they're so little. So just little journaling cards with a little bit of decoration inside those. So there we are. So that's these little flips. And I think that's rather cute, actually. I have to try and remember to use these. I think they're quite sweet, the little ones. But today I'm going to make one more on the scale of this one. So this is the size of envelope. It's a bit smaller. I wanted to use cream because I thought cream would go in my journal. The cream envelopes I had ready made. I've got a bit of a pile of them. But they were all bigger. I think they may have even been a bit bigger than this one. And I just thought that they were too big for my journal. So I've ended up making my own envelopes. they're using the punch board, the envelope punch board. I've got the We Are Memory Keepers one, and I've used the 4x6 size envelope. I have actually ended up making quite a lot of envelopes to get 3 that are the same size, even though I've used the same size paper and the same dimensions and done the same punching and everything the same. I think I've got 4 that ended up bigger than the ones that I started with. I've had to make several to get 3 the same size, is what I'm trying to say. I think these are as close as I'm going to get in size. So I've prepared 2 of them, in that I've done the napkins already. So I've just got to do this one. And as you can see, I'm just using a really pretty napkin. I can show you the... Whoops. The one I'm using, I've got a whole pack of these. I've got loads. But I just love this napkin, absolutely love it. So that's the whole thing. So it's four repeated patterns really, as they usually are. So I've got just one square here ready to stick on. So I'm going to start by doing that, and I need a little piece of paper. So I'm just going to fold this back and pop this paper in so that I don't glue the whole thing shut. So be warned, this could easily turn into a 2-parter. Who knows? You know me, I don't do anything swiftly. So I would hope to get it done in one video, but you never know. There's always little lumps and bumps along the way of unexpected things that don't quite go as well as I'd hoped. This is already the second time I've tried to do this video because I realised that my envelopes weren't all the same size, so I had to start making some more, which is why I've ended up with finally one that is the right size. I think I might just put a little bit of something underneath. Right, so what I'm going to do is just cover this really heavily in glue stick. Now when Gail made her original one that I saw, and I will try and remember to link that one below so you can see how she did hers. Mine will end up probably slightly different, or my method is slightly different just because that's what I prefer to do. She used Mod Podge. She Mod Podged the napkin onto the envelope and then Mod Podged over the top. And that was how I did my prototype, this one. But as you can see, it makes it very stiff, very crunchy, and I'm not awfully fond of the feel of the Mod Podged napkin. I'm just going to lay that on. That's actually a little higher than I want, I think. I don't want to lose too much of the lovely rose, but I want to make sure it goes up to the top. There, I think that's better. Yep. So that's why I've put lots and lots of glue stick on, because I want to make sure it's really nicely adhered, and then you can smooth out your little wrinkles. And actually it's better to do that with your fingers than with the card, because card can be a bit harsh and it might catch on the napkin. So I'm just trying to smooth it all out, because I really felt that, I mean, this was really kind of stuck. I had awful trouble undoing it when I first got it out, but this is really, really stiff. It's okay. I mean, obviously that, you know, you're thinking about preserving it and making it last forever, but I'm not so fussed about my things lasting forever. I'd like them to feel nice in the here and now, really. So I'm hoping I've got it all. Okay, so I'll just take that off. Take this out. That's why I put the paper there, because you can easily get a little bit of overflow of glue. Okay, it comes out. Right. I'm just going to trim it. Scissors. I think I'll use the other ones. Use these. Trim this down as close as I can. And then I'm going to use a trick that I've learnt from Pam at the Paper Outpost, which I'm sure if you've watched any of her videos, you've seen her do, and it works really well. Just trim off at the side. Actually, this one is almost, it goes up to the side anyway. And then I just need to take out the little piece inside here. I'm hoping just to get as close as I can. Almost tear it, but I don't want it to come off the envelope. Let's just try and cut this as close as I can. Okay. I'd say I'll use this bit for something else, but there's not much on there, so I probably won't. That bit's not quite right there. Okay. Let's just tidy this little piece up at the on the sides. And just cut along the little top bit there. There. I think I'm going to have to clean these, they're getting ever so stiff. Okay, so I've got that. Really pretty. Now I'll just grab, where's it gone? I've got this little sanding block thingy. So I've got really rough sanding block on this side. I don't know, I've had this for ages, I don't even know why I bought it, but it does come in handy now and again for this kind of thing. So I use this softer, sort of lighter side really, because I don't want to scrape too far, and then just scrape along the edges. That's why I wasn't too fussed about cutting it really close. You can just, I've got a little bubble here, just press that down, and then same here. And do a little bit on here, although I think wasn't much overhang on this side. Okay, I think that one's okay. Got a little tiny piece here that's just bugging me. Right, so there we are. That's okay. Whoop. A little bit. Right, so that's the third envelope. Napkined. That is a word. Oh, it needs just a little bit more. They will probably need a bit of inking, but I'm not going to do that on camera. I should probably do that afterwards. That's not very much fun to watch. Okay, so I'll leave that one to dry, And now I need to work on the other side of the envelopes. So what we have to do, oh no, before we stick our images on them, we have to stick them together. That's right, I've got to do it in the right order. So I have to stick it together. So this is, I've got them numbered. This is number 2, this is number 3. So what we have to do is just literally stick them together like that. So I shall do them bottom to top. Just make sure, I think I figured it out. That one goes that way and that one goes that way, yes. Okay. I'm going to use, I'm just wondering if I need quite as much of the flap as that. I think I might trim the flaps. They're quite big flaps. When you make these envelopes, you end up with enormous flaps, which you don't always want. So I think that should be enough just to stick to the other envelope, and then you're going to cover it so you won't see it. And then there's not so much gluing to do as well, which is always good. I'm not gluing right up to the crease. Now, just getting these lined up. I think that's about right. It's even fairly straight. May not be perfect. Then hey, what's perfect? Who wants perfect? This is handmade. So to remember not to cut off the flap on the last one because we're going to need that. Right, oops. Okay. Let's glue this one on. And again, not right up to the crease, but as close as, try to get it central. This was the one that wasn't quite perfect match size-wise to the other two, but close enough for this. I've got a bit of a tear there. Glue that down. Right. Okay, let's see. Fold up that way. Fold up that way. And then this flap has to be sort of bent around because obviously it's got to go around the other two envelopes now, so it's not going to be so easy for it to fold. There we go. We have got our flip up or flip down, whatever you want to call it. Flip, flip, and now we decorate the other side. Right, so I will start with, I guess I'll start with number 3, which is the one that's going, number 3 is the one that's going to be there, and the number 2 is the one you're going to see when you open it. So you see number 3. So I think our number 3 is, no, it says number 2, but I think should be number 3. Doesn't matter. I think I want that one there, and then that one there. And that goes on the back. I'm just trying to figure out which one's which. That one goes on there, I think. Okay, so let's do number 2. It's going to be this one. Or number 3. So I've got some paper from the it's the Calico Collage wedding kit. I have cut them. I have pre-cut them. They may not fit perfectly, but I can ink them, and they're going to have lace on them as well, so it's not going to be a big issue. I think I might just lie this flat like that. Just got to remember which way round it goes. So it's going to go that way. So I want to put the paper on that way. Okay. I think I'm going to use my Yoo-Hoo. Stick the paper on. Okay. So I am quite liking the Yoo-Hoo because I was using the Scotch glue stick before, and it was very soft, and it did get, you know, quite got big lumps and things. I think that goes that way. So the Yoo-Hoo seems to go on a little bit smoother. Now let's just see if I can get this on straightish. Just assuming I cut it straight, of course. Now I think it'll... I did have my cards handy. What is it about these cards that just disappear the minute I start filming? There we go. Okay, so it's not on perfectly straight, but I will be inking the edges, and I will be covering the papers in lace. So I'm not going to worry too much, as long as it's not hanging off the edge, which I may have to trim off a little. Oh, I could just trim that. It's not quite stuck down that side. I could just trim it just that little bit, so it's not. Line it up a little bit with the. No, I'm not going to use that one. Just need to trim it a little, I think. Not great, but oh well. I'm hoping that the inking and the lace will cover a multitude of sins as far as my dodgy paperwork goes. Okay, we'll see if we can do any better on the next one. Okay, so this one, so that goes with that. That can come off on in a moment when the glue is dry. Now I've got to make sure I get this one in the right. That goes there. That's the one that goes there. So that's this one. Again, this is from the same pad. I think that's too wide, so I might just trim it off a little. Trim it before I start, and then hopefully it'll go on straight. Trim it a bit. I think that should go on okay. That should fit at least. Alright. Fold him out. Okay. Just hope I get it on the right way round. Remember which way it faces. Ooh. Now, whoop, whoop. Let's get it there. Let's just do it the right way round, and then we'll more likely to get it right. Just a little bit too high. Yep. Okay. Okay, that went a bit better. Not quite such a bodgy job of that one. And then we need to turn that one so that it also faces the same way, although it'll end up looking, when you've pulled them out, it'll look upside down, but because that's the way up the whole thing is going to go, it needs to stay like that, and then like that. I mean, these backing papers aren't so directional anyway, so even if I put it on upside down, it wouldn't be a problem. It's the other bits, the decorations, that would make a difference. So I'm just going to put that on that way. Okay, now how's that fitting? Is that little, that's going to fit nicely. Might just trim it a touch. Just a little bit tight. And that goes on there like that. Okay. Keep my card handy. Right. Nice lot of glue. So I'm going to try to avoid, I think I don't want to use the Mod Podge. I want the texture of the whole thing to feel nice, to feel soft in the hand. So I'm not going to Mod Podge these, but you could. You definitely could. I should have done this one first, shouldn't I? I made the body job of the front one, or the one in the middle one. I'm not going to see this one so much because it's at the back, but because it's something I got cut off. I was just saying, oh, let me just check. Has the, is it recording again? Yep, sorry about that. Talking and not checking the time, that's my problem every time. Okay, so we're halfway through. So you never know, it might get finished. Okay, so what I was saying, what was I saying? I don't know. I've lost, I've lost my thread. So I was saying I was going to put it probably in a side tuck, or I might put it in the belly band or something, tuck it in so that you can take the whole thing out. I'm not going to glue it down or anything like that, but you could do. You could not worry about decorating this bit and just pop it down like that in your journal and just have it flipping down. But I like things to be removable. Right, so the backing is done. Let's close up the Yoo-hoo. Now, this one, I'm going to, where is it? So what I'm going to use for these is this really pretty lace. I think I must have got it from a top I bought or something at in a charity shop, I think. I can't remember, I've had it a while, but it's got this beautiful edge, and I just thought that would just be so lovely, just sitting there. And then, as part of the kit, part of the Calico Collage kit, wedding kit, it had this wedding anniversary list, and I thought that would be quite nice on there. So it's got the same, in the background, the same pattern as on the backing paper, so I thought that worked quite nicely. So I'm going to try, I think I'll try this because it's a little lighter for this lace. So I'm just going to try and get a reasonable amount out. Do some coverage so that the lace, we don't want any flappage really, so I might put a bit more underneath after when I've seen where it's lying. I might put some more under the scallopy edge, but at least this should hold it down. Let's just try and get it to stick down, and then I'm just going to put some more under the edge here. I do love this lace. It's so delicate, so pretty. It makes great backing for whatever for any image. It's gorgeous. Quite looking forward to getting back out and just going around the charity shops again and seeing what I can find in the way of clothing that I can cut up with all these beautiful lace. I mean, some of my favourite laces have come from things that I've been able to cut up. Bought for a couple of quid in a charity shop. You never know. Sometimes I've bought things and then when I've got my home I thought, actually, I don't really like it, but it may come in for something. And then others others you can't stop. You use every time you craft because it's just so pretty. Okay, so that's that, and then that should be stuck down, I think. And then this is I've actually pre-inked this, and I think I'll use the glitter glue again to stick this down. If I can get it to come out. It's feeling quite light, my bottle now. I think coming towards the last little bit. I think there's still life in it yet, but I have got a new one on standby just in case. I can't get a bit more out of this yet. Just need a lot of squeezing. Oop, upside down. So that's going to go there. I really wanted to get this into somewhere into the journal. I love the idea of all the anniversaries, because sometimes you don't know. You know the ones, the 25th is the silver and the gold is the 50th. Sometimes it's the early ones. People don't always know what they are, and this goes right from the first, second, third, 5th, 7th, 10th, 12th. So if they ever want to have a reminder of the anniversaries, they just have to look in their little envelope. Probably won't remember where they've seen it. That would be me. I know I've seen it somewhere, just can't remember where I saw it. Now I'm not sure how well that's sticking. Maybe I'll add a bit more. I may have to come back in with some Fabri-Tac if the corners don't want to stay stuck. We'll see. A nice big dollop on that corner. Can be quite tricky sticking paper to lace. And I may have to resort to the Fabri-Tac if it doesn't hold. We will see. This one seems to have stuck okay. Okay, so I'll leave that one for now. I hope it holds it in all areas. But I may have to come back a little bit later. Right, so that's that one. That wasn't the one I was going to put there. Oh no, it is. Sorry. Yes, that one goes there. And that one flaps. Oh dear, have I got some wet on there? Never mind, I'll cover it up. So that's having my baby white too close, and then sometimes I end up with little wet patches where I don't want them. Alright, so this is the one that's going to be on view when you first look at it. So I thought that was quite pretty, that paper. It's just part of the kit. Cut it down. I like that little area. So I did want to cover the whole thing with lace on this one. So where's me little bits that go on here? So I've got, by the time I'd cut out the other two pieces, I actually had just this little endy piece. So I thought actually that would work quite nicely just there. And then I've got this lovely image from Mrs. Cog. That might go there, although I think I might round her corners looking at her. She's sorry about my arm leaning through there. I might just round those corners a bit. Hoping she's not too big. Right. So I've got that. How is she fitting on there? She's rather nice. Pop her there. I think I've got my lace the wrong way up. I think. Not always easy to tell. Or maybe I was right the first time. Maybe it is right. Like that. And so I'll pop that there. Little bride there. And then I've got a vellum cut out that I just one page I did myself with some vellum with some various phrases and weddingy words and things, and I've just put our love story. I could put that there. So I think I'll stick those on. Here we go again. Make sure I go down far enough. Okay, give it a good coverage. There we are. Still not sure if I put it right way around, but I'm not sure there's a lot in it. I don't suppose it will notice either way. Okay, a bit more under here. There. There we are. Now a beautiful young lady. She's going to pop on there. Just because she's so pretty and she fits nicely. A lot of the Mrs. Cox images are lovely, but they are quite dark. Some of them got quite dark backgrounds because they're quite old pictures, and I think they tended to. Quite a lot of them have very dark backgrounds, and it just didn't work for me on here. And I tried quite a few, and also trying to get the right size. Some of them are much too big. You can size them down. I have managed to make some smaller, but it was just more of the colour. I thought, oh, I forgot to re-ink those corners, didn't I? Oh, well, it's only me that will notice. Let's hold her down for a moment, because the glue's probably got to go right through the lace onto the paper to some extent. Let's just hold it right down. Hopefully it's catching. And then we'll just put this on. Use a bit of the glue stick. Oop. That there. Now there will be, some of this will be covered when the flap closes, so I've got to make the flap look pretty as well. I might round this, because I don't really like this long point. I'm trying to think whether to make it a bit smaller, but I know if I try to cut it down, I know I will do it unevenly. So all I might do is just round it. Maybe that will be the best thing to do. Anyway, so that's that one stuck on. Yeah, the flap is bigger than I would like, but it is what it is. If I start messing with it, it'll all go horribly wrong. So all I have to do now is do the back piece. So I have my piece of lace again. Gorgeous lace. Let's go on there. Let's get the glue going again. So I think just looking at the time, I think we'll almost definitely be going into a part 2. So sorry about that. But it is the way, it's the way it works out. If you're going to get these things done properly, you've got to take a little bit of time. And in between part 1 and part 2, I'll probably ink everything so that it will save a little bit of time. And it'll actually look a lot better. The envelope will look better with the edges inked, I think. And I have been using a combination of of the usual favourite, the old vintage photo, and a bit of Tattered Rose, which is a very, very pale pink, but it goes quite well. I've used that on the journaling cards that I've prepared. Just got a little bit of extra lace on the side here, which I don't really need. I'll just stick this little corner down a bit more. Stick down my little scallops. I think sometimes it might, it's quite nice to find that somebody's taken as much trouble to make the back look pretty as it has. They have the front. Sometimes the back bit ends up looking better than the front, because, yeah, I think that will be okay. So I think that's really pretty. I mean, it's pretty as it is, just like that. Maybe that's all I need to do. I have got some images I was thinking of putting on here, but I'm half inclined to leave it just with the lace, because it is the back. Fold, 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 fold. Yeah. It's tempting just to leave the back as it is and use these on something else. Or just put, not sure that even goes really, the colour's different. I think I may leave that. Being as it's the back, and then you really do get the benefit of the lace. And I've got to decide what to cover my flap with. So on the first one I used the napkin for the flap, inside and out. Interesting. Which would be nice. How would it go with the... Because I'm just wondering, because it doesn't really... What my feeling is that this doesn't go with the image that's on the front. And now I want to think about whether... I try to get them to be similar sort of colours, so it may go. Let's just cut out this piece. Or maybe I'll leave it and see how it looks. Will that go there with that? Or even like that? It's quite pretty, that, isn't it? I think it might actually go okay. Right, let's try that. First of all, I think I need to round this. I could just use the punch board for that. I don't think it's rounded enough. Maybe if I drew it. get rid of the any little pointy bits. Okay, I think that's a better shape. I think I like that better. Now, let's see. Oh, that's the... Oh, no, my husband's getting it. That's good. If he can get there in time. I think I'll cut this in half. I've got loads of these, so if I just use a bit out the middle, it doesn't matter. And see where I want my design to go. So I really like the rose and the butterfly, like that. So I think what I'll do, I may just stick it down and then trim it after. I think that's what I'll have a go at. Let's hope it works. Put that under there. Get my glue and give it a go. And I'll have a think about what I do on the inside. Whether I do the same or not. Okay. Ooh. That's about where I want it. Maybe I've gone a little high, but it's on now, and that's where it's going to stay. Okay, I'm going to trim it. So I'm trimming it roughly because I think I should be okay to use the Pam method with the sanding block. I may find I need a little something to edge to put around the edge of this because it might look a bit rough, so there may be something needing to go around the edge of the flap. Not sure yet. So it just looks finished. Right. Because I've got sort of raw edges now on the top there. Let's see. get off the little fluffy bits. Right. Okay. Right, I'll let that dry, I think. So I think for now we'll leave it there, and I'll come back in part 2 and sort of finish off and do the journaling cards and do the closure. So I think that will be okay there, because you've got the rose and you've got the roses here. And I've got to think about how I'm going to do my closure. At the moment I'm thinking I'm going to do an eyelet and tie something around. I think that's what I'm thinking of doing at the moment. There are various ways you can do it. I always find closures a little bit on the challenging side, and this flap is quite thin for putting an eyelet in, so I'm thinking whether that's a good idea, unless I can line the inside with something and that'll make it stronger. That's something to think about. But for part 1 we have our little flip, a nice little flippy envelope. So it opens that way, flips down, and it's got a nice lacy back as well. So I think that's a good place to stop, and then we'll come back in part 2, which I will have following on from part 1, so you'll be able to watch the 2 together if you so desire. Okay, thank you for joining me, and do join me again for part 2. Bye for now.